Hi everyone, it's Stephanie from Guiding Force Consulting, and today I want to give you a quick demo of the Outbound Funds module in Salesforce, and that is used for organizations that are distributing grants out into the community. So they are giving away funds to support different causes and projects, and there's a great way in Salesforce you can manage that, which is free. So I'm going to give you a quick run through of what the Outbound Funds module looks like, what some of the features are, and then if you want to learn more, as always, reach out. So let's jump in. All right, so I am in my Guiding Force Consulting demo org, which means this information in here is fake. So please don't take any information you see as real content. This is just for demonstration purposes only. When you log in, you'll need to download the Outbound Funds module into your Salesforce org. You can find it on the App Exchange. I've already done that. So if you go to your app launcher, you can type in Outbound Funds and it'll come up over here on the left. When you click on that, it's going to look a little bit similar to your regular org. You're going to have a home screen, accounts, contacts. You'll see typical things like reports and dashboards, but you'll also notice some new features here as well. So the first place to start is the funding programs. This is going to be a whole list of all the different types of programs that your organization is going to fund. That might be different kinds of research. That might be different types of programs. That could be different geographic areas within a certain niche market that you're serving. So you're going to list all of your different funding programs on this tab. I went ahead and created one for children's research. Let's say I fund all sorts of different research at different levels. And I can list here the status, if it's a program that is in progress, if it's something completed, something we have planned. You can give a program manager over the fund. It has to be a user in Salesforce. You can say when this program is going to start and end, give it a description, and say how much funding is available for this program overall. Another interesting feature is you can attach files. So if you have specific documentation that you want to attach to this funding program that can be used for reference for staff, perhaps it's materials you email out frequently, you can attach that right here. And of course you have, as you do with all your other areas, chatter and activity to track your actions. So once you have a funding program set up, you can go into funding requests. So I have a pool of money set aside for children's research. Now organizations can start applying for that funding. So I have in here an example of a funding request. Let's say it's from Oakland University. I can put the date that their application was submitted, but I have lots of options here, and this is all right out of the box. So I can say they were invited to apply, were in progress of applying, their application is in review, it's been reviewed, it's been awarded, it's fully disbursed, it's closed, rejected, or withdrawn. So I didn't customize any of this. This is all just right out of the box. I can link to which program. So maybe I have different programs going on at one time. I can say when this application closed and why. So maybe it was fully funded. Perhaps they were rejected because they didn't meet the qualifications, whatever that may be. I have some population served areas here that I could customize. And then here I linked it to the applying organization, who the contact is that's applying. And I can add lots of other fields here if I want to do a principal investigator, co-principal investigators, PhD student, post-grad student. Perhaps it's a nonprofit organization in the community. So you can customize this however you want. I also have in here the date that the grant was awarded, when the term starts and ends. I can list some of the high-level terms. And then, of course, I have the financial component. How much did they request? How much did the approving committee recommend? And what was the actual awarded amount? Again, there are files over here that we can attach all their application materials, any letters that we send out. We can document that activity right here on the activity feature. So if we're sending out emails saying, we need you to submit a budget, or you didn't submit your abstract, all of that can be tracked right here on the funding request screen, so you know when that took place and what the status is. And again, this is very high level, so you have the opportunity to dive in as much as you want into specifics and customization. I also added a couple of requirements. I did a couple reports for the mid-cycle and final, but you can add any requirements you want. These can be application requirements, they can be receipts, invoices, whatever makes sense for your organization. So the mid-cycle report, I assigned to a certain person who needs to complete the report. I have all sorts of types of deliverables here. You can see some of the examples on the screen. You can create your own. I did the due date, the status of this deliverable, and then of course a completed date. And then I put some requirements in here as a reminder. So again, I have the files and the activity and chatter over here, so I can track all this information right on the record to know what's going on. We also can track the disbursements of funding. So here I scheduled the initial payment to go out and then the final payment. If I open up this disbursement, you can see the scheduled date, when it was actually dispersed, the status, the type, and then the payment method. Again, you can attach a file if you want to show a copy of the letter that went out with the donation or the disbursement. You can look at the requirements associated with this disbursement. So perhaps they have to submit receipts before you can submit the reimbursement. You can get custom, again, as much as you need. And all of this is attached directly to this funding request. So when I'm hitting the back arrow, I'm going back to the funding request. So you can see it on all of these tabs here. And then of course I can submit reviews or track those. So in this case, I made one that was the foundation grants officer. Their review is in progress and they're going to do a site visit and let us know if further action is needed or another site visit is needed later on. Again, this is very high level, but you can do really in-depth reviews and add whatever fields that make sense. So is this approved? Is it recommended? Is it rated at a certain level? Feedback and comments from the reviewer, who signed off on the review. So there's all sorts of things that you can do to make this specific to your needs. This can really get in depth and it's really fun to dive into some of those requirements. And this is just going to give you a high level look at what could be possible. So if you are intrigued and you want to learn more, I would love to talk with you about your needs to track outbound funds in Salesforce. Feel free to reach out anytime, and I look forward to connecting with you.